Well, now let's delve into why ESG is gaining prominence, its impact on businesses, society, and the global space at this time. Also looking at the FITC Sustainability ESG Institute. Joining us for this conversation is Ms. Chizo Malize. She's the MD CEO, FITC, joining me right here in the studio. Great to have you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Lovely to be here again.
Fantastic. It's been a while. Yeah, you've been on the show.
I'm here now.
In our new studios. Great to have you.
Beautiful studio, I must say.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
So much happening in the ESG space at this point. But before now, nobody was really talking about ESG, but it seems to be a prominent conversation right here in Nigeria now. Talk to me about why this is happening. So
I'll start by speaking to ESG. ESG is environmental, social, and governance. Environmental speaks to the need for every individual, organization, and government to be great custodian of nature. And society must also align to this to be able to build a great place for the future. Social is all of our societal activities towards creating an environment that is good for everyone to live and thrive. And governance refers to ensuring that organizations and institutions have systems and structures that make them well governed, right, just so that there is sustainability and longevity of these institutions. And so you see that the E and the S and the G all work together to contribute to building a wonderful future, not just for those of us in this part of the world today, but also for the future owners of the world. Right, quite interesting, definitely. But are we starting to see some kind of impact, at this time? Because, we've been talking about this since, I guess, 2023. Have we seen some kind of improvement, when it comes to ESG with businesses and government? There is a lot of impact, and we'll speak to it in terms of business and then the society. Through ESG, there are systems and structures that regulate organizations, helping organizations conform to the need to imbibe and practice ESG. And so through their initiatives and practices and programs, they are able to align, whether it's with environment, being custodians of the world, protecting the environment, even through activities that are as simple as planting trees, not cutting down trees, using alternative means of communications within the organization rather than print on hard papers, because you can share documents without printing and then you preserve the entire environment. I guess that's why I have this tablet here. And that's the reason you have the tablet, so you're not moving papers and then making the world worse than we met it. Right. There is also the need to ensure that we protect the climate, aquatic nature, and all of that. So with regards to the S, which is societal impact, there is significant impact in society because now through ESG, organizations are forced to be very conscious of all of its stakeholders, its employees, its suppliers, its customers, and of course the community in which they live. And every organization that is able to do this oftentimes are able to not only make investment in the society, but is also posting significant profit because they are very positive in the minds of their stakeholders. And with regards to governance, organizations through ESG are also pushed towards ensuring that there's solid quality corporate governance. And so it is not an individual organization ending at a president that takes all of the decision. There are structures like the board that is regulating the activities of management and staff, and of course staff also, all connected to the diverse stakeholders. But more importantly also, the governance allows the organization to think about the diverse stakeholders, equality, equity, inclusion. How many of the females get opportunity to get into management? What about the people who are disabled? Are they able to get opportunity within the organization? But lastly is also ensuring that there are smart systems and processes like audit, like risk management, that limit the risk and losses in these organizations so that their performance will be optimal. And so you see how all of this dot into impacts that comes back to the society. So ESG is designed for principles and practices that would help the future, our society be better, and then the future be greater for everyone.
Yeah, because we really need to secure the future, at this time. But looking at that E, when it comes to environment, and you look at businesses in Nigeria, we see most of them still have to run on generators at this time. How much of an impact is that having on compliance, when it comes to the E?
So it totally brings a lot of pollution. But you remember also that different organizations, different individuals, different society across the globe are in different states with regards to environment. Things as little as keeping the environment clean with intentionality adds up to that. Then regulation is also very important. And that's the reason why it's not just in the hands of individuals or society or the organizations, but regulators play a critical role. And so individuals and businesses are forced to be able to report the degree of compliance to environmental factors. So when you think about even all the way to financial services, people are able to either borrow from a window because they are totally compliant to ESG principles. And so in this report, it is also expected that your customers are also aligned to ESG principles and practice. And you find out that it will continue to move from 10% to 50 to 80, and compliance becomes total and 100% at some point. So starting is the issue, understanding the principles and practice and how they benefit organizations is extremely very important. And that's why we are consistently creating the knowledge and awareness so that individuals, organizations, businesses, and society can align and imbibe to ESG principles.
Right, definitely not an easy process, but it all starts by doing one thing, then you keep growing.
Becomes incremental.
All right, so talk to me about global trends now. What are you seeing, in the global space when it comes to ESG that we should actually start preparing for in this part of the world?
So globally, we are speaking to green financing, we're speaking to compliance, we're speaking to regulation, we're speaking to reporting, and I'll speak to reporting. So organizations are forced to report their degree of involvement and compliance to ESG principles. And so what that means is nobody is leaving it to the organization to consistently do what they would like, but help them to ensure that from the onset, they are aligning their practices to a particular strategy and framework that they can report at the end of a season. So reporting has become very critical. So you are making those ESG initiatives an investment, but you want to be able to report them as well. And that's such a technical area. So you need to understand how to first set the strategy, second, set the reporting framework, so that by the time at the end of your cycle, you are able to report your investments, and you're also able to show how you have protected the world and helped the society. And so reporting is very critical. Now we can also speak to green financing. So back in the days, anybody can get any loan to do anything. But today, it's important, if we talk about E, environment, for instance, it's important that where funds go are areas that promote the environment and not areas that take away from the environment. And so institutions are becoming more deliberate about the sort of customers that are in their books. And they're also compelling these customers to learn much more and align to the ESG practices so that they are not disqualified from even obtaining loans. And imagine what can happen with the financial service sector or the customers of the financial service sector if neither are compliant, neither is compliant to the ESG principles. So there's continuous understanding, embracing, imbibing of these principles, and this is not only globally, but it's also in Nigeria. And so the energy sector, the financial service sector, the manufacturing sector, and even not-for-profit organizations have started to not only promote this, but also help individuals and businesses to be very compliant. Imagine what incremental impact would happen if the consciousness is high and the embrace is high, and over time, it definitely will achieve that goal of bringing and building a very, very safe future for everyone.
Safe future for everyone. That's what we need at this point. All right, talk to me about the FITC Sustainability ESG Institute and what we can expect from that.
Right. So FITC, as a world-class, globally inspired, technology-driven organization, we are always at the forefront of bringing knowledge solution to the industry that we serve, which is the financial service sector, but of course to the society at large. And so at FITC, with the emergence of ESG, the need for compliance, the need for regulation and reporting, we have created the FITC Sustainability and ESG Institute to be able to bring knowledge to all the stakeholders that are relevant so that every single individual have access to insight, research, methodologies, framework, systems, structures that can equip them be the best, both in terms of designing their strategy, executing their initiatives, and reporting their actions in compliance with the ESG principles. And so you definitely would have cohorts and models and workshops and conferences that would break the ESG principles into extremely simple terms so that there is not only understanding, but there is also acquisition of skills, but more importantly, true impact.
And I guess maybe the E and S part of it might soon start to, mean something to individuals, and not just businesses and governments at the end of the day.
It has to mean a lot to individuals because you need individuals to drive it.
Right.
You need individuals to even be conscious of their environment from their homes and their offices. How many times do you leave a room and you flick the light off, knowing that it costs a whole lot to generate that power and energy?
Shout out to the Band-Aid customers at this point.
Absolutely. You don't need organizations and government to tell you that it does cost money, so you're able to do that. And how much of all individuals can become more aware of the damage that individually people are doing to the planet, based on their action and their inactions. So driving individual understanding is as important as driving corporate and government understanding and compliance.
Very interesting. Thank you so much. Always great having your perspective. Ms. Chizo Malize, she's the MD CEO at FITC. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Very lovely to be here.
Fantastic. All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we're heading straight to the markets. How's the week kicking off for the global markets we track and the local boss right here in Nigeria? That's our next conversation. Just stay with us.